Hey, come on up.
All right, thank you, Ken. Once again, my name is Willie Brooks. I'm a football coach at Helen Cox. You guys are familiar with Helen Cox. Was a feeder school for West Jefferson and John Ehret. Several years ago, we became a high school. This is our seventh season as a full high school, and very proud of some of our accomplishments that we've had over the last 7 years. We've had some nice young men who come through our program. We've had over 21 guys sign scholarships. Right now we have 7 graduates who went to school and played and graduated. That's the most important thing to me in our program. I like to start off by saying we have super administration at Helen Cox, starting with our principal, Ms. Edwards, who's very supportive of our team and our program and all of our athletic programs at Helen Cox. Also, I like to talk about some of the changes that we had at Jefferson Parish. And one of the things I really like is our new superintendent, Dr. James Mesler. He's really on board with our athletics, and particularly in football. Every year we have a little luncheon, and he kind of, gets familiar with the teams and the programs and the coaches. I've never had an administrator or superintendent that heavily involved in athletics, even in football. And I think that's very encouraging for our players and our coaches to see that academics and athletics work hand in hand. We've also, in the last couple of years, have had some guys who have signed some locally here. We've had one commitment last year, Royce LaFrance at Tulane University, playing for Coach Johnson right now. He's doing a good job over there. We've also had commitments to Southern University. I think they play kicker right now. Mr. Greg Pittman, who played for us last year. And I'm also proud to say we've had 2 guys that went on to Millsaps College. And they were 4-year players at Millsaps. And if you guys are familiar with that, it's a very high academic program. And those guys, 2 guys have graduated from those programs from our program. I also like to say we have a preseason All-American at McNeese and Darius Carey that came through our program. And we also have an all-conference player that Coach Johnson's going to have to stop in a couple of weeks, and his name is Javon Lawson. He's over at ULL. So I'm kind of proud in 7 years that we've been able to produce a lot of guys. We've also been able to produce a couple of high school local coaches on our staff that we're blessed to have. One of my assistants, 2 of my assistants have went on to become head coaches, and I think they're very successful head coaches. One's by the name of Larry Rout. He's a head coach over at Lakeshore, and he's doing a great job. We also have another one of our assistants, Mr. Reggie Rogers. He's over at Bonneville right now. He's trying to resurrect that program. So we've been blessed to have some good guys, some good coaches come through our program, and hopefully, we can continue to do those things and have guys come through our program, become successful head coaches. I'll tell you a little bit about our program this year. Last year we kind of were relatively young. I was foolish enough to throw a 13-year-old quarterback out there, and against a great district we in. And I might be a little bit of bias when I say this. Our district, in my humble opinion, in Class 4A is the toughest district in the state. And I think to start off with, I think Ken just mentioned one of the guys, Speedy Nose, the Edna Carr, old pair of Walkers, great with talent. Also McDowell 35, Shaw, Rich Tradition, and also Bell Chase. So, all those programs have been in the state championship over the last 5 or 6 years. So, that's the kind of teams that we play. Speaking of our team now, once again, we're playing against West Jefferson and Marcus Scott. Those guys are ranked 5th or 4th in the state, and we're going to have our hands full on Friday night at Horse Memphis. But I think hopefully our team is going to be up for the challenge. Once again, I like to end by saying this. I like to thank personally Ken Trahan for all the things that he's done for our program. It's covering prep sports and covering Helen Cox. He's done a tremendous job with us, and he's kind of seen a maturation process of our program. So once again, I like to thank the Quarterback Club for giving me a little time to come here and share some things about our program, and hopefully in the near future, you'll see great things from Helen Cox. And once again, thank you. Yes, he was 13 years old last year, and his birthday was yesterday. Matter of fact, so he's a little older now. But the best thing he told me that the game slowed down for him. Last year, fifth game of the season, we were playing against Old Parent Walker, and he busted a run for about 75 yards, and nobody could catch him. And I remember he came in the sideline and told me, he said, "Coach, man, everything's slowing down." And that's the thing that we really love as a coaching staff. And he said he's gotten off to a great start this year. We were able in the Jamboree. We beat Archbishop Shaw 27-7 in one quarter. In the next quarter, we played L.W. Higgins, and we beat those guys 22-0. And then the Hurricane Isaac came along, and then last week, played a good Warren Eastern team. I think is going to be in the playoffs. And we had a chance to really put them away, but at the end we got the victory. So this week right here doesn't get any easier for us. But I like where our guys are right now. I think we're on the right track. A little bit about Royce LaFrance over at Tulane. I know Coach Johnson will talk about those guys in a second. Royce is a true freshman. I think he played a lot the other day, if I'm not mistaken, Coach. And I know Coach told Royce in the beginning that he was coming to Tulane to play. And we also have another Tulane commitment this year in Eldridge Washington. He's number 91 for us. We got one more year with him, and then Coach Johnson gets him for the next 4 years. Eldridge is he's a monster. You see him, he's 6'3", he's about 250. He's put together and honor student, and I think he's going to do real well at Tulane for the next 4 years. So hopefully we can continue to produce good football players at Helen Cox. And, personally, I like to see those guys stay local where we get a chance to see them and, put Louisiana football back on the map and do those things. Once again, I'd like to thank you guys. Thank you very much. Quarterback's Club.